That's why sometimes I just like to say things that aren't true. And then put hashtag made up facts. Welcome back to Between Two Rigs. This is your hostess with the mostest. I am Jeremy Compton, VP of Engineering at DET Consulting. With me is Mr. Pat Salvo. He's looking for a new platform to get certified on currently. We've lost a couple these past weeks. All right. Today's episode is a big one. It's what we've been dealing with the last 15 years, but really, let's talk about the last 2 months of what is going on. What matters in the last 2 months?
Cost is king, period.
Cost is king.
Nothing else. Cost is king.
We had a almost 60-page performance bulletin, advertisement, all of that.
Yep.
What do we have now that we give people?
Cost.
1 page.
That's right.
1 page.
That's right. How to reduce cost.
How to reduce cost. Everyone keeps, like, I could stand up and do a million presentations on days versus depth and all this stuff. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When we walk into a meeting, what do people ask us?
You know, the first thing they ask us is say, here's what we're going to do. How much is it going to cost? Period. So that's what we get into. Straight up cost. It's not how many days is it going to take. It's what is the cost? Period.
What's the next question they ask? Who are you going to use to do it?
Yep.
Right?
How are we going to pick vendors? What are we going to do? Are we going to bid it out? What does that look like?
We could tell every customer that we have, we've already done this. Guess what? Every customer wants it done again.
Yeah.
Why?
Yep.
Cost is king.
Cost is
it
king.
matters. That's all that matters right now.
Yep.
So it's been really interesting. We started a one-off South Texas program.
Yep.
We started and stopped it really quick because we drilled the well in 5.5 days.
Yeah.
Like it was. We're not going to talk about that days versus depth crap. Why?
Because cost is king. What we should do,
it doesn't matter.
you know, the days versus depth, it was phenomenal. Okay, we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that at all.
Something we can talk about is the cost from the previous one with that operator. Right next door, 6 months later, what kind of reductions did we see right there?
Close to 20% in South Texas.
Yeah.
On a one-off program.
Yeah. I went back and looked at the numbers. It was, 18.9% on that well in South Texas.
Yeah. And then
and I mean that's
so we
that's
just
huge.
we just started a West Texas program.
Yeah, and we're seeing the same things, as we're changing our processes to make sure that cost is king and cost is the thing that's driving these decisions. Now, don't get me wrong, you can't really have great cost savings without some portion of performance also.
You have to.
Yeah.
You can't take the lowest bid and the lowest price without a relationship and put a team together in a tough environment and go drill the cheapest well.
That's right. You have to have a balance of both. But whenever we look at these things, we always talk about is performance how you decide what you do, or is cost? Well, if cost is cheaper and performance is the same, or maybe performance is not going to be the thing that drives the cost down, maybe we start having cost is king and that's what we make decisions on. But there is a balance in this whole project. There's so many moving parts.
Yes. No,
You've
and
got
so
to get them right.
You saw our last video. Casing hasn't gotten cheaper.
No.
It's still going up, and we don't know where it's going to stop.
That's right.
So we're reducing well prices by 20%.
Yep.
With tangibles going up 50%.
That's right.
Right? So how are we doing that? Why do we do it? How's it come in? There's a million things that you get into this, but it comes down to, at some point, cost does outweigh performance.
That's right.
What's the difference between a 9 and 12-hour curve? Is a 9-hour curve having an extra $25,000 in the BHA?
What justifies it, right?
Sounds like I'm going to go drill a 12-hour curve.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
If my BHA is cheap but reliable and I can do 12-hour curves, I'm not going to spend the money on a racehorse to drill a 9-hour curve.
That's right. It might not be needed. It might not be justified. And as we talk about cost is king, it helps us make those decisions, and that's what we're doing. That's why we're seeing 18+% in South Texas, 18 right at 19% in West Texas on a project. And both of these projects are ones that we drilled last year, came back in this year, and we're seeing those reductions with cost is king and having that philosophy and that mindset.
And so we didn't get those numbers going down by simply bidding this out and taking the cheapest bid. What we did is went to multiple vendors that we have relationships with and said, here are the specifics in this program that we need to accomplish. Here are our customers' goals. What is the most economic way you can participate in this program and get them to us? And you know what we had from a lot of our vendors were, well, I think this and this is needed, but I can go a little less on this, this, and this, and not affect the reliability we're putting up.
Right.
So it's not you can't just blanket bid stuff and get a cheap bid and go, hot diggity, we're knocking 20% off a well when tangibles just went up $200,000 on our AFE. Right? No, that's not how we're doing it. We're grinding in this as a team. We're negotiating. We're coming back and forth. We're really looking at what works, what doesn't work, how to circle back around. I mean, bidding processes don't work anymore if you're going to drill cheaper wells faster.
That's right. That's that relationship between performance and cost, where it's not just a simple process. Send me a bid. It's working and going through a tedious process that I think works out really well in the end, and that's how you get your performance and cost is key.
Yep, without a doubt. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Everybody remember to keep it salty. If you didn't get a bid from us, don't call us. We're good.